1 of Park Bench Poetry. This one's entitled Loved and Lost. I'm here with my co host Sam Wetz. Hey, Sam.
Hi, what's up?
Hey. And we have each picked our own poem, and we're going to read to each other and then discuss at the end. We're doing one by Edgar Allan Poe entitled Annabel Lee, which Sam will go first because that one's a doozy of a poem. And then I'm going to read mine out of Charles Bukowski's collection of poems, Love is a Dog from Hell, entitled One for Old Snaggletooth. So Sam, if
Such
you
a
would...
great title.
I love the title. You're going to love the poem too. And I know I've read to you some of Charles Bukowski, and this one's actually a little more lighthearted than the rest of them. So
Yeah, I think that's actually my favorite of his poems.
yeah.
It's so much sweeter than his usual flavor.
Yes, exactly. So you'll get to hear that. Sam's gonna go first, and so tell us a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe too.
Okay, so Edgar Allan Poe is considered one of the like horror romantics, especially for the United States.
Really?
So yeah,
Oh.
um, yeah, no, he's an American poet. He's actually really credited for not being the founder of the short story, but like making it into what it is today. The Telltale Heart, The Cask of Amontillado, like the kind of
Mm.
horror genre. Mary Shelley, who I absolutely adore and will get it on a tangent about, so we're not doing that. Um, Mary Shelley is credited with creating the science fiction genre and the horror genre, along with being the first person to create a non-religious creative myth. And
Okay.
Edgar Allan Poe took what she started, the horror and the science fiction, and then built on top of that and kind of refined it. He's also credited with being the inventor of detective fiction. So without Edgar Allan Poe, there is no Sherlock Holmes.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he had a horrible life though.
Oh God.
So pretty much every woman he ever loved died. His
Jeez.
mother, his foster mother, and this poem in particular is supposed to be about his wife Virginia, who I
Okay.
think was also his cousin.
Oh my God. Where do you know where he's from?
Uh, where is he from? Massachusetts.
Okay.
Boston to be exact.
I wouldn't have thought that. You know, you got close with your cousins in Boston, but what do I
Hey,
know?
hey. Leave Alabama out of it. It's
Oh,
fine.
one of
Um,
many.
Roll Tide.
Oh
So,
God.
I mean, talk about Game of Thrones. Lannister colors are crimson. So,
So
yeah, that's
I have a question about Edgar, since you know a lot more about him than I do. Are his poems like more metaphorical or literal, or it varies on which poem he's talking about? So, because I know like so many literature classes like go into such depth into his poetry, um, but I feel like too he's a lot more literal, especially from if he's coming from a horror side of things.
yeah. Well, okay. So his short stories, "The Mask of the Red Death," is particularly applicable to the current pandemic situation. Um, it's like a metaphor for like not being able to isolate yourself from things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a memento mori, if you will. Like, remember death because death will remember you. All these rich people lock themselves away in this castle and party while all the peasants die of plague. And
Wow.
then this guest walks in and he's dressed as the plague himself, and all of the guests fall down dead.
Well, that's relevant. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yep, that's special. Yeah, especially with the whole GameStop thing. It's a very eat the rich kind of
Oh my gosh.
short story. Um, But his poetry, this one's a little bit more literal.
Okay.
But some of it, like The Raven, for example, everyone knows it. It's The Raven, quoth the Raven, nevermore. He's like
Mm-hmm.
chilling out in his office and hears something knock on the door, and it's this bird. I think everybody can relate to being absolutely freaked out by a bird. And that's basically what goes on in this poem. He's like trying to research something to find this woman or to bring her back to life. I'm not exactly sure. And
Okay.
then he's like asking this bird, he's like, can I do it? And the bird's like, nevermore, nevermore. And he's like, screw you, bird, at the end. So, yeah, Cliff Notes version of The Raven.
Okay. Yeah.
Use it for your exam. Yeah.
That's
But
great.
anyways, his cousin Virginia, who this poem is supposed to be about, um, he married her when she was 13,
Hmm.
and I think he was 27.
Hmm.
Um,
This gets
and
better and better
oh, it's special.
when you know, you know.
Right, but like the reference to this to Annabel Lee being a maiden in the poem makes it seem like their marriage was never consummated. Like it was like one of those chivalrous loves, the pure love where you just there's no physical anything involved.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'm
fingers
listening.
crossed that that's the way that went.
So I've read over Annabelle Lee, but I haven't actually heard it. So I'm very excited to listen to you read this. So
All
whenever
right,
you're ready.
I'll go for it. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling my Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in the sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lay down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre down by the sea, her tomb by the sounding sea.
Wow.
So, yeah, this one was actually published after he died, which he may have perished from alcoholism or
As
poisoning.
many great poets do.
Oh, yeah. It's been said that it might have been part of like voter intimidation. It's been said that he could have had epilepsy, or the medical records are actually all lost, so we don't really know
Oh.
what happened to him. Another mystery for the detective writer. But this poem in particular, I absolutely adore because it sounds like the tide. The way the punctuation is, where you're supposed to stop and start in the poem, it's like the sounds go in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked that up a little bit. It's
So
the pentameter in there is just like that. Yeah.
it's it's wonderful.
Did you do
So
did you do that from memory?
no,
Oh, you
no,
did
I
it?
have the book.
Okay. 'Cause
I can,
I know you can, so I was curious.
yeah. No, not under pressure. We're not doing that one. No. But I love the idea of like this the angels being jealous of the mortals, and he can't accept the fact that his love is gone, so there has to be a bigger reason. Like the angels were jealous of us. Like, can you imagine loving somebody so much that the angels are jealous?
Aw.
Yeah, and my favorite is my favorite line, I think, is, "But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of many far wiser than we." And then, "The angels nor the demons can ever dissever my soul from hers. Like, we are one." It gives me real Wuthering Heights vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that obsessive, never apart from each other kind of love. And also similar to Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
um, every night he's laying down in her tomb with her corpse.
Yeah. Gross.
You know, yeah,
You know,
you gotta,
like normal people.
yeah, angst, but make it goth.
Oh dear
Yeah.
God. All right, I have a question.
Okay.
What is a sepulcher?
It's like a mausoleum.
Okay, that makes
So
more
it's a
sense.
tomb that you can walk into. Yeah, so he's like laying down in her tomb. And that's a recurring theme in like music and literature
Mm-hmm.
from around the time. Like, okay, so there's this Irish ballad, "I Am Stretched on Your Grave," and it's about lying down next to um, the body of a girl that he loved as a child. And they never consummated their union either. But he can't live without her. He calls it "My apple tree, my brightness. It's time we were together. For I smell of the earth and I'm worn by the weather." And he like sleeps next to her grave every night.
So,
And then
oh, go ahead.
I think even Danny Boy is about like visiting your loved one's grave. So it's a recurring theme in poetry slash songs of the time, because what are songs but poems set to music?
Mm-hmm.
And the unrequited yearning love was very, very popular back then, especially when you married for convenience more often than love.
Right. Right. So, how do you know in this poem that they never consummated?
Um, he in the third line it says that a maiden lived whom you may know.
Mm-hmm.
And this maiden, on the fifth line, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
So, in my head, that would kind of, to me, that would assume that because she was so young, that she only laid with him.
Mm. I mean, there is that too, but the repetition of maiden back then, it didn't just mean young woman, it meant untouched.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if anyone says like, "Oh, she was a maiden," it was more like an unmarried woman was assumed to be untouched back then. And if he's calling her a bride and a maiden, it's more of a not touchy thing.
No
I don't
touchy.
know. No, not touchy.
No, not
No,
touchy. That one is mine. Thank you.
no. Right.
But I
Yeah.
love, I mean, I'm always so envious of the people who can take their emotions and put them into words, because that it's so difficult to do, and especially in something that sounds so beautiful without even like rhyming every single line. So I think he rhymes just like two lines or a few, or it's all the same. It's all like a a a a a. So it's all like see me lee, see me lee, see me wheelie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And somehow he can still rhyme. He can still paint a picture in your head, and you can still grasp what he's trying to get at. You know, without going too far into depth into something, and like you said, having the wave feeling, and it's all by the sea.
Right. And especially like, the imagery of it. So like the angels blew a wind out of a cloud that chilled her and killed her. That, and then the idea of the demons down under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if they knew what was down there back then, but now, like,
Mermaids.
this, I don't know. I'm thinking about like lanternfish and all the heebie-jeebies that they pull out of the bottom of the ocean, and you look at that and you're like,
Uh-huh.
hell is real. And it is beneath us.
That was under my feet? Dear God.
Right, exactly. Like, fear of the ocean intensifies. But, like, if there are dragons, they're down there.
Oh, water dragons.
Like, right? But, or the running joke that NASA's seen what's in the bottom of the ocean, and that's why they're trying to get us off the planet.
What?
Oh, that's a meme. You should look that up later.
I absolutely will. I'm behind on my memes.
Right. But, no, I absolutely love. And then he describes the night tide at the end. So you almost, in your head, there's this vision of like the moon beaming and, cliffs by the ocean and the sea going in and out. And he's, tucking in for the night next to some bones. So,
Nothing to see here. Please move along. Thank you.
just spooning a corpse.
Ew, fine. God. Talk about imagery.
So, anyways, so on a happier note, what you got for me?
All right, yes, let's turn the beat around. So I'm gonna read, and I've read several of these poems to Sam, by Charles Bukowski. And Mr. Bukowski, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he's an American German poet, and he did novels, short stories, and a lot of his writing was influenced by him growing up in LA. And so it's real dirty and grungy and and dirty. So that's where a lot of his poems come from. There's a lot of alcohol within his lines, the stanzas, and there's a lot of women in between those as well. So a lot of his poetry, highlights those aspects of his life, and a lot of his stuff is very graphic language, violent imagery in his poetry, which is, I know this sounds strange, but it's actually what kind of drew me to him, because I'm used to reading poetry by like Robert Frost, Maya Angelou, people who are a little more well known. Not that he's not well known, less well known to me, but things of more of a flowery feel, let's say. Seeing life through rose-colored glasses and love and lust in that kind of way. And he is very, very real with his poetry and how he describes and sees life. And it's just different, and it's amusing. So this is Charles Bukowski out of his book of poems, Love's a Dog from Hell. And it is entitled One for Old Snaggletooth. I know a woman who keeps buying puzzles. Chinese puzzles, blocks, wires, pieces that finally fit into some order. She works it out mathematically. She solves all her puzzles, lives down by the sea, puts sugar out for the ants, and believes ultimately in a better world. Her hair is white, she seldom combs it, her teeth are snaggled, and she wears loose, shapeless coveralls over a body most women wish they had. For many years she irritated me with what I considered her eccentricities, like soaking eggshells in water to feed the plants so that they'd get calcium. But finally, when I think of her life and compare it to other lives more dazzling, original, and beautiful, I realize that she has hurt fewer people than anybody I know. And by hurt, I simply mean hurt. She has had some terrible times, times when maybe I should have helped her more. For she is the mother of my only child, and we were once great lovers. But she has come through, like I said. She has hurt fewer people than anybody I know. And if you look at it like that, well, she has created a better world. She has won. Frances, this poem is for you. And that was One for Old Snaggletooth by Charles Bukowski.
Wow.
Don't you love that?
I love how it's like, hey, we might have hated each other for a little while, but we're cool now.
But I
like
think
the divorcees that finally get along again vibes.
But I think that's love, you know, versus the lust of kind of more, I feel like Poe was just like obsessed with her, right? Was obsessed with Virginia. Right. And then Charles Bukowski is well known for, you know, sleeping around, kind of being a hound dog. And his other poems have such dark themes and grotesque themes. So for him to he almost tried to do it, but but he kept it clean.
Right.
And he created like a halo around her is how I picture it. Like, this is the one woman who I actually saw differently, and he probably screwed it up. So, and lost her is what I got from it, because he says in here, and we were once great lovers, you know, but he puts her on a pedestal, and he obviously respects her even though they didn't work out in the end. And I love the way he words everything. Like, he, you know, her eccentricities, which were, you know, his annoyances of her. And he put that kind of nicely. And all the little annoying things she used to do, and I love this so much. It's so different than something else I would have read.
Yeah, he feels so earthy, and the way that he breaks the lines up so your eye follows it.
Yes, yeah. So, like, if you guys are looking at the poem or look at it later, you know, like the first line, you know, it's 3-4 words. I know a woman who keeps buying puzzles. And then it just says Chinese, puzzles, blocks, wires, all different lines. So he writes in such a way how you should read. And there's one poem in particular I'll eventually read where he's drunk. And
that's a good one.
Yes. And the way this one's written is almost for you to say it like you've been drinking all day. And
it's hard to read.
It's so hard to read. It's obviously on purpose. And the first time I read it, I thought I was being an idiot. Like, I was like, is this just me? Am I not bright enough to read this? And as I continued, I was like, wait, hold on a second. He got me.
Right. And there's another thing. Concrete poetry is like when you make the poem into a shape that represents the subject matter of the poem. And it's almost, oh yeah. So like you're doing a poem about a tree, it'll be like short at the top and get wider and wider and wider to be the crown of the tree. And then once it'll start getting narrower and narrower, and then just be the trunk again.
I did that.
So like the words will make a shape.
Yeah, I did that in elementary school. That was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
But exactly. But it's a thing.
Yeah.
And that particular poem, what he does is he plays with the idea of concrete poetry and then does it in such a way that you're like, what is happening to my brain?
And the hard part is there's hardly any punctuation in any of his poems. So they're all like run-on sentences. So you have to read them as they're typed.
Right. And for this one, I mean, it's like he's almost ranting about her, and you're right, he does put her on a pedestal. And I think it's a different pedestal
Mm-hmm.
than the one from Annabelle Lee, because Annabelle Lee's like, oh, she's this maiden, I adore her, but it seems like he doesn't know anything about her
Right. That's why I figured.
except that she loves him. And the
Yes.
first line in the One for Old Snaggletooth is, I know a woman. Like, he knows who she is. He
Right.
knows every part of her, the eccentric parts, the parts that annoyed him, the body, the fact that she's mothered his child. It seems like they've had a very, very close relationship over the years. And like, he absolutely adores her for what she is, not for what he makes her to be.
Right. And this is actually one or the only poem that he puts a dedication to, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, because all the other ones, he's like, and I banged this one,
Yep.
and that one, and that one, and there was some cocaine in this one, and there's lots of alcohol in that one, and this one I threw up on a trash can.
Yep.
Oh, no, threw up into the grand piano.
Yes. Yes.
On
Amazing.
stage. Like, so like,
he's an
iconic
artist.
Alcoholic poetry.
Yes. Yeah.
Another theme for today.
Loved and lost, and alcohol.
Yeah.
Those tend
Poems
to
by
those
alcoholics.
they tend to go together anyway,
Right.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Poetry comes from a place of such deep emotion, and so often that emotion is pain. And
Which I find to be so strange, because I feel like poetry has been. You think of it as a gender. Like, I think of a poetry as female, as feminine, but there are really. I feel like I know more great poets who are men. No?
Well, that's, yeah. There's a historic bias towards that. Like, women are just now receiving all of the same rights and equalities and publications that men had. But one of the earliest poets we know of is Sappho, and she was from the Isle of Lesbos, and her poetry, yes. Yes.
Of transsexual Transylvania.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's perfect. Her poetry is like entirely dedicated to women. So the Isle of Lesbos is actually where the word lesbian comes from, because of Sappho's poetry. And lesbianism is also known as sapphic love, like the love between women.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been feminine voices, but you just don't hear them because they're completely overrun by, like, Homer. So, like, poetry was used as oral history. So Beowulf, the Iliad, the Odyssey, they were all stories that were passed down verbally. Like, eventually somebody wrote them down, but they would be memorized, just like the Israelites memorized the first 5 books of the Bible. Like, the Torah was something that you carried around in your head back when Jesus was roaming around. And that was something that you learned. And when you were 12, you were supposed to be able to recite, I think, when you were 12. You had to go to the temple.
Yeah.
And you had to be able to recite all of this back to your rabbi.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, poetry is a good way to do that, because especially when you're doing it in iambic pentameter, the way that Shakespeare does. So, for example, but soft what light through yonder window breaks. It just sounds like regular speech patterns in English. Which is why he does it that way. But it's easier to remember.
Right.
It's easier to memorize.
Just like a song.
Yes, exactly.
Just set to music. So I wonder, like, you know, for example, for Bukowski, who lives such a gruff life, I wonder why he turned to poetry to be honest. Um, and how he got to become a poet in himself, because like he has like next to no schemes for any of his poems, like nothing rhymes. The art within the writing is the one thing, and then the imagery and visualization is another thing within the writing. But it's very odd to me, the type of poetry he does and how it's technically poetry.
Right. So his style is so if Edgar Allan Poe is a romantic, Bukowski's I think postmodern.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where modernism is like Steinbeck and Hemingway, who I appreciate but cannot stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Come for me, it's fine. So, I know, I'm aware. So that was always like, you say as much as you can in as few words possible. No imagery really. Everything very short and to the point. And actually F. Scott Fitzgerald kind of bucked against that. Like,
Yes.
if you read The Great Gatsby, the imagery is just like decadent. Love it. But postmodernism is almost more towards Fitzgerald. So you say what you say in a short, concise, compact way, but you make it as vivid as possible.
So it's like, I mean, poem is a form of art. But I actually didn't realize that there were different, breeds of poetry, different species of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crikey.
Crikey.
That one's postmodern.
But I'm guessing the different types of poetry didn't come till later, till after it was written. Like people didn't write it that way on purpose. They just kind of did it, and then they go, oh well, that's postmodern. Oh well, that's Shakespearean because he wrote that. Oh, that's this because he did it that way.
Yeah, each style of poetry is a response to the one before it.
Okay.
So, the Romantics were responding to the Industrial Revolution. So everything around them was becoming industrialized for the first time. They're like, no, wait, we love and nature and shepherds and we want to go back to green things. Like, this sucks. And everybody's like, yep, too bad, you're never going to breathe clean air again. And then the modernism was a response to the more romantic things. And they're like, oh, it's too pretty. No one can relate to this. Everyone's talking about, like, comparing.
Sam?
Oh, sorry. My phone was going off.
Go ahead. Start over.
Yeah. Where did you lose me?
You were comparing to the romance style versus the modernism, postmodern.
Right. Okay, so the Romantics were too pretty. Like, it's not relatable. Everybody's talking about gods and goddesses. What's the modern man have to do with Apollo or like demons down under the sea? We don't give a crap about that. Like, talk to me a way I can understand. We don't have time to read all of your pretty flowery BS. You know what I mean? And then postmodernism's a response to that and being like, you're too cold. Like, you're still not relating to the current man. So poetry is the spirit of the generation.
Mm-hmm.
Which
makes a lot of sense.
Right now, all of our poetry, it's very much like Bukowski. It's there's not really a rhyme scheme. There's a lot of things that don't have punctuation.
It's cool.
Like, yeah, it's almost like the Instagram poetry.
Yes.
Like, that's a new thing. Ooh, we should do one on those next.
Absolutely. That was about to be my next question. If you had a modern poet that you've actually read at all.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes, I have. I actually, so I follow some poets on Facebook and see if I can find them.
Just like a few randos who you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've sent me quite a few.
Yeah. So like J. Warren Welch, he's got a book called It's Not Poetry and Your Mom Thinks It's Poetry.
Oh, damn.
And I think he's also a recovering alcoholic.
Good.
A
Okay.
theme.
So we need to start drinking more if we'd like to be well-known poets, I think.
I like my liver. I'd rather have that.
It'll grow back. The liver grows back.
Wait, does it? Yeah. So, some of his poetry does have like punctuation in it and capitals and like things like that. And some of it doesn't. And he's very, in the same way of Bukowski, like gritty and in the middle of it, and doesn't shy away from things. And it's very explicit and raw, but at the same time comical. Like he calls he calls his wife like Shorty.
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 Shorty, may you please come this way? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear.
But so he's one of my favorites. I think there's a J Storm or something like that too. But there's a few of the Facebook poets, the Instagram poets. Now you don't need to be published to get your poetry out there because there's social media. You just throw a poem on a picture and send it out to the millions of followers you have.
That's so different than all the previous poets than today, which is why I think, poetry today is so looked over and we don't realize we're even reading it most of the time. We're seeing quotes on these pictures on Instagram and Facebook. And we're like, oh, wow, that's nice. Double tap for like. And then we keep scrolling because we have so many other things for stimulus for our brains. We kind of forget about it. But we didn't just realize we just read like 6 poems in a row.
Right. So that's been my most recent medium of poetry. And the slam poets are also really good because if you listen to slam poetry, there's not always a rhyme scheme to it, and actually usually there isn't. It's more about the punctuation, the way the words flow.
It's definitely more getting to a point quickly, so they'll so if you go to, have you ever been to an open mic night?
No.
It's exactly what you think it'd be. When you have the musicians there, but you also have the coffee house poets with the singular spotlight, and they just go, war, bad, thank you.
Oh Lord.
But it's entertaining,
Yeah, that does sound incredibly entertaining.
It truly is, and that's why I love poetry, because it is entertaining, and just trying to be able to get other people to realize how important and enjoyable it is a goal of mine, to not be a minority.
Exactly. And some of the stuffier poems, like Edgar Allan Poe, he's rather stuffy.
He's good though.
Even the one, yeah, exactly. It's still about an emotion. It's still about, like the human condition in general. Good poetry is always about humanity and the way that we all suck, actually. So, like, this is beautiful. Humans are wonderful. Humans are terrible. This is poetry.
But also, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, hey, I loved this woman dearly, and I know her, better than anybody else. Versus, I love this woman dearly, and now I cuddle with her bones. Like,
very, very different. Polar opposite.
Yes. Yes. Might I recommend the first one?
Wait, the
The knowing someone dearly, not the bone cuddling.
oh,
Let's not.
okay.
Also, that
Okay.
doesn't sound very comfortable.
You know what? Neither really sounded fantastic in the end.
Mm, true.
Because I don't think either poet was known for being a happy person.
I think most good poets are miserable,
I
and
think
that makes me sad.
most good artists are desperately miserable.
Hmm.
Like the really good,
Something about depression just makes it pop.
it does. Especially when you're depressed and then you write something happy and it's like, I know that's a lie.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's like
tried
that
though.
one ray of sunshine, and you're
Uh-huh.
like, ugh.
Kill that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I do all my best writing when I'm miserable.
Right?
Yeah, no, it just flows off the page. Or, when I'm like very deeply, like head over heels infatuated.
See, when I'm just desperately infatuated, I write the corniest stuff. It just, it's bad.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, you've read some of mine. My
yours is much better than mine.
I've been trained. I
You
bought that.
you have.
That was part of my education package.
I'm more of a fan. You've been formally educated.
It's all right. Emily Dickinson was never formally educated, and they never found any of her poems until after she died. She just stuffed them in her desk, and now she's one of the most celebrated American poets.
I guess that's what I'm waiting for. Death.
Your Emily Dickinson moment.
My ED.
Hmm. There's a movie about her out right now with oh, who's the Haley girl from the second Pitch Perfect movie? The one who played Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
Wait.
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
That ain't right. Steinfeld?
Amanda Sigfield?
No.
No?
No.
Not
Her
Mamma
name's
Mia?
Haley something. She was in
The blonde girl?
No.
What did she look like?
Oh Lord.
Use your imagery. Use your words.
Okay. It's hard.
Words are hard.
English 404, English major not computing. She was in True Grit. That was her breakout movie.
Oh, yes.
That one.
I know what you're talking about now.
She was in Romeo and Juliet, the most recent one, which was a gorgeous movie, but they changed the words, and I just wanted to explode because you don't change Shakespeare.
Don't get me started on Romeo and Juliet. Franco Zeffirelli's version was the best. Sorry.
Of course it was.
Sorry, all. The one with Leo DiCaprio never happened.
I don't know. It had some very pretty cinematography moments.
I'll give you that.
It had some really stupid moments too.
Yes.
Draw your sword. Excuse me, sir. That's a 9mm.
That's only like 9 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, her Steinfeld.
Huh?
Okay. Haley Steinfeld.
No,
That's her name.
Never would have guessed that.
She's also an artist on Spotify. Check her out.
Wow.
She's 24. Oh God, now I feel old.
What do you mean?
That feeling?
That's only a 2-year difference.
Okay, so when you see a celebrity that is incredibly successful and has a decently long career, and then you look at them and they're younger than you, that doesn't make you feel like you're 1 foot in the grave.
I don't like to think about it.
Okay, because that makes me feel like my teeth are about to fall out and I'm going to need a walker soon.
On the other hand, I did meet a girl the other day who is 10 years older than me, and we're in like the same point in life. And that made me feel fantastic because I felt ahead.
Okay, I need one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she makes me feel fantastic. And I'm a keeper.
Keep her forever.
Keep her around. Yeah.
Forever. Yes.
Uh,
Oh, goodness.
good times.
The best of times. So,
And the worst of times.
A. A.
A.
Charles
A.
Dickens is a whole new
Oh,
subject.
Charles Dickens is fan-flippin-tastic. He is so whimsical. He reminds me so much of myself.
Do you know why he writes like that?
He is just always a child. No, why? Was he dropped on his
Because
head?
no, because
Oh,
he got paid by the, or you think of Lewis Carroll.
yes.
Hmm. Okay, so Charles Dickens, like the first sentence in Tale of Two Cities is like half the page. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and it just like continues.
Hmm.
He writes like that because he got paid by the word.
That's unfortunate.
But brilliant. Because
Yeah,
he has like the most amazing imagery because he has plenty of space to do it.
but it was forced.
Of course it was. Like Shakespeare was forced to come up with words that didn't exist in the English language yet to describe what he was doing.
And he made his own language.
And the guy who wrote the Three Musketeers, and I'm looking that up right now because I should know this. I don't. Oh no. Alexandre Dumas. Oh Lord. Yes, Alexandre Dumas. Ha! He actually was a black man who published this adventure novel in 1844. So he broke a lot of barriers to get there, but he got paid by the line. So his dialogue sounds very realistic because it's the way that people talk, but he's like trying to get extra lines in there. So he's like, where are we going? We're going to the church. That church? Yeah, that church. Like that's what his dialogue sounds like.
That's genius.
So
I honestly prefer that in writing, because it's actually it's hard to do. It's harder than you'd think.
Oh, dialogue is miserable.
But to write how somebody actually speaks, especially when someone has an accent or they're, from a different time period, like I'm in awe of that, and reading it makes me happy. Could I actually do that with my own pen? No. Maybe.
Dialogue is what keeps me up at night.
All the voices in my head.
Shh, talk about that.
Oh gosh. We should do one podcast where we create a poem with each other. We pick the scheme. Like
we have that one. Remember
ABC,
the one
AB. Huh?
We have the A is for.
Dear Lord.
We need to finish that.
Do you still have that?
Yes, absolutely. Like I would ever get rid of that.
What letter did we get to? We didn't finish.
I know we didn't. Hold on. I'm looking.
Tis unfinished. N. That's easy.
N is for Nona.
No.
See, that's why we couldn't continue, because I was fighting for it and you shot me down.
I don't want to be remembered as Nona. That means I will be a Nona forever.
Why not? Grandmothers have the best food and the best wisdom, and they're always the ones you want to hang out with because they're way more fun than anybody else.
I'm not Benjamin Button. I wasn't born a Nona. I was born a Noel, and I've blossomed. I will be a Nona. I will be the best Nona anybody's ever seen, though. Wait, what was the previous line?
M is for Mom. She makes my eye twitch.
Was there a theme to this poem, or did we just keep rhyming the alphabet?
No, it started with A is for assholes.
That's right.
And the whole theme is like assholery.
Yes, indeed. Wait, what was M again?
M is for Mom.
M is for Mom. What was the rest of it?
She makes my eye twitch.
Do we have to rhyme with that one or the one before?
No, we have one for the one before.
M is for Mom makes my eye twitch. Oh, I remember the one I was gonna do. And as for Noelle, she's a.
But we did that we did that the line before about love.
Oh, now I'm so curious. We'll have to discuss this later.
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Danke. Danke very much.
Danke, bitte, bitte.
Very much. I like your poem. Goodness.
Oh goodness. I know. I feel like we've devolved.
We've veered. This will be edited.
The rabbit trail has many bunnies upon it.
I will be cutting this quite somewhere in the middle, and then we will create an ending soon.
Say snip snip.
Say. Ew. Snip snip can be unsnipped, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Do all of us ladies a favor.
Just, you know what? When you're born, I think it should be the tip and the tubes. Mm-hmm. Get it done.
I have a lot of thoughts about that don't go on a poetry podcast.
Just make it rhyme. Make it a poem, and we can add it.
About tubes.
Oh.
An ode to tubes.
An ode to tubes.
That's gonna be a very Charles Bukowski poem.
That's so Bukowski. I almost want to read another one of his.
Right?
Feet of cheese, coffee pot soul.
Oh. That's such good imagery, though.
He is so dirty. Like,
filthy man. Like, I feel like if we ever read one of his, like,
I describe him as
poems?
grimy. He is grimy.
He's a sleazeball.
Sleazy. I wouldn't say sleazy. I think he's just misunderstood. He also describes Texan women as being healthy, and I know that can't be true.
Oh, healthy means something else.
Oh.
That's 80s for what's the common usage? Thick.
No, this girl's 103 pounds.
Then in that case, healthy means having a derriere like Elastigirl.
That booty dough.
Indeed.
But I'll have to read you the Texan one. I read you so many.
You did read me that one.
I did. How do you remember?
Oh, I don't know, because no one ever reads me poetry.
Aw, babe, I'll read you poetry.
I love you, marry me.
You know you're number one.
I know. And you know you're mine. Don't tell my lover.
Okay, I was gonna say.
He might get a little jelly, and I don't have any peanut butter for that. So.
Oh damn! Hot damn. Oh goodness.
All right, so, I believe that this concludes our rambling, wonderful, rabbit traily podcast about Loved and Lost, a theme of incredibly alcoholic poets.
Indeed. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for listening. We are on almost every streaming platform: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon. So please feel free to listen, show your friends. And this has been episode 1, Loved and Lost, of Park Bench Poetry. I'm still on stream, but we're done. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so I think. Okay, can you read that poem for me? The one that we wrote? Or you want to go to bed? I really want to hear it.
Okay, real quick, and then
Okay.
I have to call the lover because he's called me a few times.
Doesn't he know you're a working woman?
He does know.
Mm-hmm.
but he worked me quite well recently, so I owe
Oh,
him some attention.
I see.
And
An eye for an
yes,
eye for an eye, as one would say.
more like a back scratch for a back scratch in this case.
That was nice.
Um,
Damn,
yes.
I would die for a back scratch right now.
Well, you know where I'm at.
No, I don't. I have no idea who you are. Who are you? What are you doing here? Get off my channel.
Fools.
Oh,
Okay,
lols.
so A is for assholes.
Oh, metaphor says he'll scratch my back.
Ah, who's metaphor?
He is a streamer, Twitch streamer,
Oh, hello, human.
and
All right, so
artistic person.
very nice, very
All
nice.
right, Sam would like to read our poem that we've created together entitled A is for Assholes.
Yes. Fair warning. It gets a little graphic.
Mm-hmm.
A is for assholes. B is for boyfriend who liked the butt. C is my cousin who's kind of a slut. D is for dicks, I've seen too many. E is for emails, of which I have plenty. F is for fucks, of which I give none. G is for... Oh, that one's blank. We gotta work on G.
Shit.
H is for hours that I have worked. I is for me. I'm a real jerk. J is for Jesus. I could use some wine. K is for kids who scream all the time. L is for love. Ha! That bitch. M is for mom. She makes my eye twitch. So we need G.
What?
And I feel like the Jesus line could use some work.
That's amazing. I forgot how funny that is.
What can I say? We have real talent.
What's wrong with us?
Do you want that list chronologically, alphabetically, or by childhood trauma?
Isn't that what we're writing? Isn't that the point of the whole poem?
You're right, though.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I think we should make G, and then
G.
call it. Yes, I think we should finish G.
G has to rhyme with none.
Okay. B is for boyfriend who liked it up the butt. That was my favorite.
Especially because you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Of course.
Oh,
And
God,
so
when
do-
did we write this?
And so do many others, which is the crazy part. Okay.
I
He's-
forgot that everybody we went to school with knows about that.
Everybody knows. And probably
Everybody.
and his psychiatrist.
God, he freaking needs one.
I'm sure he. Oh, can we put that in there? Okay.
G is for...
Guy.
Oh. G is for gyno.
Why?
Because it's assholes and no one likes the gyno.
We can do better than that.
Can we?
Okay. E is for emails, of which I have plenty. F is for fucks, of which I give none. Oh, wait. D is for dicks, I've seen too many. E is for emails, of which I have plenty. F is for fucks, of which I give none. G is for... We have to rhyme with none, right?
Mm-hmm.
G is for...
G is for the gyno that touched my bum.
Gynos don't touch your bum.
Maybe that one did.
That'd be another discussion, Sam. Do we have to lay on my couch? Tell me of your woes.
Do I get T?
F is for fucks, of which I get none. G is for... I think we need to put gun there. We need to finish it with gun. Mm-hmm. G is for something that starts with a G, and then where is my gun? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You feeling it? No? Too graphic?
I think it should be for G-spot and be about men who can't find it.
We can't make this all about men. They roll lives too much. Well, we are to N, so G is
Right.
G is for what's something that sucks that starts with a G?
Gym bros.
Jim Rose.
Because they're all about the guns.
G is for Georges. Wow, why is this so... This has been so hard for years.
I know. Like, I think we started this 3 years ago.
That is hysterical.
Oh my god.
A is for assholes. B is my boyfriend who liked up the butt. C is my cousin who's kind of a slut. D is for dicks, I've seen too many. E is for emails, of which I have plenty. F is for fucks, of which I give none. G is for... I need a dictionary.
Ugh.
Oh, I thought of something horrible. I'm not saying that out loud. G... Words
No.
start with G. GABA.
G is for gabbing.
That word's too cute.
I know.
That's a
I feel
cute...
It's gotta be like...
That's a cute word.
It's about assholes. I feel like it should be Jim Bros. I swear.
I don't know what that means.
Jim Bros?
G is for... I think we need one syllable. We need one syllable, right? Boyfriend. G is for Jim. Where is my... E is for...
Boyfriend, cousin.
Boyfriend, cousin. I mean, it could. Gondola. Gastro. Goosh. Grumble. Gallows. Genteel. Giraffe.
Grey Goose.
G is for... G is for gray. Oh.
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 No.
Oh. God, what have I done? I'm sorry. I take it back.
I hate you. Why?
Gamble. G is for... Ooh. Gamble's a good one.
G is for gambles that I have not won.
Damn.
Thank you.
Look at you. This is why we work. G is for gambles. Would you say G is for gambles?
That I have not won.
G is for gamble. I have not yet won.
That doesn't fit the rhyme scheme, though. It's gotta be...
Say it.
One. F is for fucks, of which I give none. G is for gambles. And see, even that doesn't work. G is for gambles, I have not won.
G is for gamble, comma. I have not won.
Oh, let's do a semicolon.
Okay.
And we're gonna put not in italics because I'm feeling extra.
Damn. Not. Put it in caps, dude.
G is for gambles. I have not won.
There you go. Okay. Read it from the beginning to end.
The aria,
Beginning to end. Haha.
A is for assholes. B is for boyfriend who liked it up the butt. C is my cousin who's kind of a slut. D is for dicks. I've seen too many. E is for emails, of which I have plenty. F is for fucks, of which I give none. G is for gambles. I have not won. H is for hours that I have worked. I is for me. I'm a real jerk. J is for Jesus. I could use some wine. K is kids who scream all the time. And C K is for kids who scream all the time. L is for love. Ha! That bitch. M is for mom. She makes my eye twitch. And then N is for...
No, we can't continue now. We'll be here all night.
N is for numpty. You stupid assholes.
N is for what?
Numpty.
Numpty. Numpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Numpty Dumpty had
Humpty.
a great fall.
Numpty is British for like... For dipshit, basically.
Why do you know that?
So much BBC.
Oh.
The channel, not the acronym for other things.
Less Outlander, more The Office.
But The Office was originally a British show.
Shut up.
Ooh.
Damn.
Checkmate.
I have been had.
And on that note,
I have been
beautiful
had.
win, I'm gonna sign off for the night.
Dits. That's British
Dits.
for yeah. Stop making dits happen. It's not gonna happen.
Fetch.
No,
That's so fetch.
that's so fetch. Did it happen? Because we're still quoting it. Kind of. Okay. Have a good night, Sam. Thank you for joining me. We'll be back again next
Bye.
next Sunday, because obviously the week isn't gonna work.
Oh yeah, no. Next Sunday because we're terrible and we procrastinate.
I might do like a singular of me during the week or something, of just me reading poems because I need to practice. So
Gotcha. If I can, I'll hop in.
Yeah.
I'm
I won't-
actually fairly free this week.
I probably won't post, but I'll probably just stream on Twitch unless it sounds good. Then I'll post. One. But
See, there we go.
that's the beauty of recording.
All right, well, fare thee well, bright angel.
Fare thee well, oh honey. Fare thee well. If I felt weak in mother's bed, that's for another day.
That's with the kiss I die.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
All right. Good night, Sam. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. And good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I say good night.